Hello everyone. So after being asked by a million different persons a million different times about my migration journey, I finally decided to just do a video to talk about the entire process. So I'm just gonna get right to it. It's no secret, Caribbean nurses tend to migrate to the US. A lot of us, all the time. So that's no big secret. But they tend to be, most persons don't really talk about the process while they're doing it. And I guess because you have experiences where if management finds out that you're leaving, they tend to give you the worst shift. They don't want to give you any time off that you request. They don't, vacation cannot be granted. They're putting you on the worst floors, stuff like that. So persons tend to not talk about it while they're actually doing the process. I guess that was my reason. Probably people have other reasons why they don't talk about it, but that was my reason. And I guess other people don't talk about it, so I didn't talk about it either. But now I've left 1 year now, so I can talk about it. Anyway, let me get to it. The agency that I use to migrate was O'Grady Payton International. And before I even get to O'Grady, I signed up with MedPro after 6 months of working, and of course I did an interview for MedPro and I liked them, but something in their offer didn't sit well with me, so I decided, okay, I'm not going to use MedPro. I'm just going to wait the 1 year because I knew about O'Grady at the time, and O'Grady wanted 1 year experience, so I decided I was just going to wait the 1 year, then sign up with O'Grady. So I started working January 2017, and December 2017 I signed up with O'Grady. And it was pretty simple. You just Google the application online and fill it out. So I submitted the application and someone contacted me via email, and that pretty much started the process. I had to do a pre-test. So they send you a pre-test to do, and if you pass the pre-test, I guess they say it's not a pass or fail thing, but yeah, you do the pre-test and then they call you after the pre-test and they do an interview. So in that interview they find out like the kind of floor you work on. They already know the years of experience that you have, because you'll put that in the application form, but they still talk about that and so forth. And they tell you like what to expect throughout the process. So they just give you like a quick run through of what to expect. After the interview, if they have accepted you, then they send you a contract to sign. You sign the contract and you're officially on board with them. So this is 2018 I'm talking now, because I said I signed up December 2017. So in 2018 there was a $200 commitment fee, and they said this was to really like send you books that will help you with the studying and stuff like that. So they actually sent the book to your local address. They sent the books. There was an online orientation, and after that they send you a study plan. The study plan is, I think, probably 12 weeks, 13 weeks. I don't remember exactly, but it's a whole lot of weeks of studying. And like there are different tests in the study plan based on like each systems, and every week you have a test to do. Like you have small tests to do every week based on each system that you do. But say like every month there is this big diagnostic test that you have to pass, and like you get 2 attempts to do it. And I never found out what happened if you don't pass both attempts, because I never fail any. But I think there would be some remediation if you don't pass both, but try to pass on the first try, and if not, pass on the second try. But anyway, as I said, there were those diagnostic tests. Then after you've completed all the systems tests that they give you every week, and you are pretty much on board with the study plan that they have done, they give you like projected time when you will be required or ready to do NCLEX. But before you do NCLEX, they have a mock exam that they give to you, and you have to pass that mock exam in order for them to schedule you for NCLEX. You get 3 chances to do the mock exam, and if you fail 3 times, then you have to pay for your exam. But once you pass, then they schedule your exam. So you help them with the scheduling. So you tell them what day you're available. So schedule the exam. They book your flight. They book the hotel room that you're gonna stay. They don't provide food or transportation to the examination center, but that's fine. We can live with that. So how it works, you fly out the day before your exam, then you do the exam the next day, and then you come home the day after that. Then 2 days after sitting the exam, you get your unofficial result. And if you pass, then yeah, you pass. And then you get real serious. So when I started the process, to be honest, I thought that the hard part would be the studying for NCLEX and getting ready for NCLEX and passing NCLEX. Nope, that was not the hard part. So after I passed NCLEX, so I did NCLEX in September. I honestly did draw out the studying because I was working at the time, and I lived 2 hours from work, and the traveling and traffic and everything. Sometimes the studying did really hard to do it everything, but it was hard. Oh, may I jump too far? Sorry. My study guide to NCLEX. So, as I said before, O'Grady sent books for us to use to study. I have never been a book person. I don't like reading books. To study from a book, that is not me. I can do electronic books. I'll read that, but still, books, not really me. So, of course, they had the Q banks, which is question banks, where it has a lot of NCLEX questions or NCLEX type questions. And they use the Kaplan program. And Kaplan is very good. The issue that I had with Kaplan, though, like say you get something incorrect, they'll say, that is not the right answer, that is not the right answer, this is the right answer. So it wasn't really telling you why this is not the right answer, why this is not the right answer, why is this the answer. So that was my issue with Kaplan. But the questions were helpful. But 1 month before I did NCLEX, I decided to purchase UWorld for that month. So the last week in August, I bought UWorld for 1 month, and UWorld is a godsend, to be honest. The questions in UWorld, they're just like, remember in NCLEX now, the UWorld questions were like from NCLEX. And what UWorld does it gives you explanations as to why this is not the answer, why this could have been the answer but is not the answer, and why this is the answer. So it explains everything. The pictures, oh god, your pictures nice and bright, and it just jump out to you, let you want to study. So I like that about UWorld. That was like one of the biggest perks. And I had it on my phone, so I could study anywhere and everywhere. So I would just be sitting down and say, okay, let me do 10 questions. Just say I have a couple minutes to spare, so let me do 10 questions. And that really helped me with the studying. So I did UWorld for all of September. I left Jamaica the 26th of September, and my exam was the 27th of September. I didn't complete all the UWorld questions, but to be honest, by the 26th of September, when I was leaving Jamaica to fly to Miami to do my exam, I felt ready. Something in me said, okay, I got this. You got this, girl. I just felt ready. The night in my hotel room before the exam, I was like, is there something, the anxiety before exam, you can't help it. You're just thinking, is there something else I need to read? Am I missing anything? That happens. But like when the anxiety really, really turn up, I just say, you know what, I go watch some TV. So I turn on the TV and watch my 600-pound life. Watch that until I fell asleep. Got up the next day, my exam was 2 o'clock. I didn't really have breakfast, which I would encourage anybody to have breakfast before the exam. I think I had a cup soup. That was it, because I was nervous. So my exam was 2 o'clock, of course. I wanted to be there like 1 hour before. So I called Uber and they took me to the examination center. When you get there, you check in and all that stuff. I don't need to talk about that because right now the process is different with COVID, but they sort it out. So I got there and I got there early, and they say, you want to start your exam right now? And I'm like, no, I'll wait for 1 o'clock, for 2 o'clock. And they're like, okay. So they do the checks. They check your glasses to make sure there's no tech behind it. Check your sweater, check everything. They say if anything and you're in the exam and they think or they suspect you may be cheating, then they'll stop the exam. So they give you all that run through. I can never forget 15 stations in the room that I was at. I was sitting at number 15. I get in there, and like once you sit around the computer and start the exam, the nerves, not so bad. My exam, after every question, I got to select all that apply. Every other question for me was select all that apply. Like, select all that apply, select all that apply. And I'm like, no, sir. And then if it's not select all that apply, select all that apply is the prioritizing question. So which patient would you see first? Who's the priority patient? Which condition? Who's more serious? Blah blah blah. That was my exam, was just primarily prioritizing care and select all that apply. But you know how they say, okay, they start you at the passing level, and then if you answer that question correctly, then it gets a little harder and a little harder, and if you get one incorrect, it gets a little lower. So like honestly, in my exam, at one point, like the question got so hard, I was like, wait, I'm a nursing me at the ear, so I'm at school days, what the hell this question at all about? Like, I had no idea what the question was asking me. I was like, it's not even worth my time to think about this because I don't know what the question is asking. I don't know what this is, so let me just choose an answer. So I did that. I just chose something, and then the next question I was like, okay, I guess I got that one wrong. So Now I understand what they're talking about again. So anyway, because I know my attention span is like 2, I did not plan on sitting in that exam for 6 hours. So in all my studying, I was preparing for 75 questions. And I was like, you know what? I have to work hard because I need that computer to turn off at 75. If me did it and me I see 100, 150, 200, this girl gonna go crazy. Because this girl cannot sit down for 6 hours for no exam at all. So, of course, but I'm not rushing through the questions. Because yes, you have 6 hours. You have 6 hours to do the exam. And if you want to do this 75 question in 6 hours, that's fine. So I wasn't in any rush. So I read my questions carefully. And even honestly, even when I know the answer, process of elimination, why that is not the answer, and I just work my way through that. I think I got probably 1 calculations question. But anyway, I remember when I got in the 70s now, so ready, I said, okay, 71, 72, 73, and all the time, I scrouched down, so when I got to question 74, I'm like, all right, let me sit up for this one. All right, 74, and I answer that one. And then I'm like, God, this needs to be my last one. I plan on this being the last one. So I answer my question. I answer question 75, and then the computer shut off, of course. I'm like, yes, I'm excited. So, of course, it shut off at 75, and then they give a survey after. At this point, my brain is not functioning high enough for me to do a survey. But anyway, I answered the questions in the survey because I thought I had to. Only to come out and find out that I didn't really have to do the survey, but I did the survey. So, I come out of the exam center now, and you feel good because I'm like, okay, shut off at 75, and that was my plan all along. Come out, and then I get back to my hotel room, and I'm like, everything now start feel funny. I'm like, honestly, could the computer really shut off at 75? I'm a fail? No, sir, me not so dunks. Never. Could I never? And of course, then I start thinking, was that really the answer? Wonder if it was a trick question. Wonder if I thought that was the answer, and that seemed like the answer, but then that wasn't the answer because it was a trick question. So everything started going through my head. So I did exam the Thursday. So my unofficial result would come out on the Saturday. Longest 48 hours of my life. Can't sleep, can't eat, stress right out because a girl don't want to do over back NCLEX. I think if me fail at 75, should I really do over back NCLEX? So anyway, they said almost 48 hours to the dot before you get your result. So my exam was 2, and I finished probably some minutes to 4. I think I took probably an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. So anywhere between there for the 75 questions. So the Saturday now, all day Saturday, I check my phone because I want an email. I need somebody to call me. I need somebody to tell me something. Cannot do nothing. Can't function because I want the results. Yeah, well, on the whole, yes, I got my results. I passed NCLEX. So that was that. I thought that was the hard part. It finished. All that is done. I'm ready. I go migrate in 3 months because NCLEX finished. So that was so I did exam the 27th. I got my results the 29th, and the first week in October now, I was contacted by the immigration team, and they told me that they're going to submit my documents to USCIS, and they're going to submit it premium process. I'm like, okay, that sounds good. They said to me, with premium processing, you get approval in 15 days. Like, what? 15 days? Oh, God. Mega foreign. Anyway, so, they took all my information, everything, and they said they submitted the document. So they said, approval in 15 days. Approval in 15 days. So anyway, they filed with USCIS, and I'm like, okay, the day that they submit the application, they told me, so I'm counting 15 days from then to say, okay, I'm going to get my approval. All right, so 15 days pass, nothing. I don't hear anything. 15 business days pass, nothing. A girl don't hear nothing. So I'm like, okay, just I go wait. Probably, you know, they have a lot of people, something happen. So I said, this is the first week in October when they said they're filing premium. Nothing. So I emailed them, and I'm like, I was told I would get an update in 15 days. It's been a month and I haven't heard anything. They say, oh, they submitted my file to USCIS, but it was sent back because they needed more evidence. So I'm like, is that something where I need to submit something else? I need to, because at this point, they don't ask you for anything about yourself, you know. So they just submit everything. And they said, no, it's on them because they're going to be the sponsors. So it's just for them to prove to USCIS that they can afford to accommodate you in the US. They can pay you what you're supposed to be paid and stuff like that. So they need to prove that to USCIS. So they said, okay. They submitted the evidence that was required. So this was like the end of November. So I'm like, okay, results supposed to be coming at some point. Nothing. Cannot hear a thing. Okay, and life the pampas. Because me a plan for go foreign. Me supposed to be foreign by the end of the year. That's what I was thinking in my head. So by the end of 2018, you know, I'm going foreign. Nothing. So on December, I think if it wasn't before Christmas, it was before New Year's. Somewhere down there for the holidays. Because I remember I was cleaning my house at the time. And they called me. And they said that the application with USCIS was denied, but I shouldn't worry because they realized that they're having increased denials, and it's just like a random thing. There's nothing that wrong. There's nothing wrong with my application. There's nothing that they submitted wrong. They just got denied, and they're going to refile, and they're going to refile again premium. So I was like, okay, I understand. Oh, I think this was around Christmas. And then New Year's Eve, I got a call and they told me that they resubmitted my application on that day. So this is December 2018. 2018? Yes, December 2018. So I go over into the new year now, thinking, okay, something is going to happen soon. January, February, March, April, I cannot hear nothing. And this was really, what was really upsetting for me, the agency not communicating with me at this point. So I'm not hearing anything. You told me that you're resubmitting my application and you're submitting it premium again. I should get a response in 15 days. 15 days and I cannot hear anything, and you don't tell me if okay it was sent back for more evidence, if it was denied, if it's just on hold. Nothing. I cannot hear nothing. So that was really frustrating for me, because you cannot plan your life like that. You cannot do anything. You're just stuck. You're waiting for a response. You're waiting for something to happen. You don't want to make no big move, and then the next day they call you and say, oh, you need to do this. So I was really frustrated at this point, and I was like, you know what, anything happens. If them call me, them call me. If not, I stay at Jamaica and work at UA. So I said January, nothing. February, nothing. March, nothing. April, nothing. I'm like, nope. And at this point, I'm emailing them constantly, asking what is happening. And they just say, oh, at one point when I email, they said it was sent back for further evidence. I'm like, they did this before. What more evidence they need? And they're like, oh, that's just how it is, and blah, 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 blah. But I'm saying, you see, if at the point where they got the response that it needed further evidence, they called me or they sent me an email and they said, okay, we submitted your application, but USCIS has requested further evidence, I would understand that, okay, something is happening. They don't throw away my file, it's still there, you know, something. But anyway, so the first week in May, bear in mind, as I said, the refiling was done December 31st. First week in May, I got an email. So the agency that I used, they had immigration persons. Like they assign you an immigration person. First week in May, I got an email from a new immigration person. So I didn't even know who this person was. Just sending me an email, say, okay, they're going to resubmit my documents to USCIS. And I'm like, what do you mean you're going to resubmit my documents to USCIS? And I don't even think at this point I even got a response to that email. But I was so frustrated with the lack of communication that I emailed the director for the immigration process, and I told her that I was very disappointed in their lack of communication, and when I was required to sit NCLEX, I did everything I was supposed to in a timely manner, and I kept them informed with everything that I was doing. I communicated every step of the way, and now where I am expecting them to communicate with me in a timely manner and keep me informed every step of the way as I did, they're not doing that. And of course, she apologized and she go on and tell me that, okay, so the second application was denied again. So they're going to refile it a third time, and they're going to do it premium again. And I'm asking, so what is this denial? Because first of all, when they contacted me after NCLEX, they told me approval in 15 days. So people, after NCLEX, when they file your documents with USCIS, just know that it can be denied, it can be sent back for further evidence, or you can be one of those lucky persons who get the approval very quick. Because there are persons who get their approval with no issue at all. But I'm just telling you about my process. Anyway, so the first week in May, I don't remember the exact day, but I think it was around the 3rd. It was the 6th. It was the 6th of May. I got an email that said, okay, they resubmitted my file to USCIS today. So I'm like, okay. So at this point, I'm very discouraged because this is the 3rd time my documents being sent to USCIS. So who's to say it's not going to be a 3rd denial? May 17th, I get an email. Congratulations, your file have been approved. Bear in mind, my first filing gone from October and denied denied. I say all the way till me not get response till May. And then this file May 6th, and by May 17th, it approved. Of course, excitement did that kill me. I couldn't even vex. I was so excited, I couldn't even vex. Because at this point, I think, okay, finally, things are going. It just, things are move. I go left. Because I was working at this hospital in Kingston. And my clinical nurse manager and I could not take tea at all. So I was going to work miserable, and I was just over it. I was really over it. I needed a fresh start. But anyway, so in May I got my approval, and after my approval, because that's what they said, okay, after you've been approved by USCIS, things tend to move pretty fast, and that's what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear that. Approval May. By August, I was out. And I think that was a fair time. May, June, July, August. 3 months. I think that's a good time. Anyway, so I did everything I was supposed to do. Post this. Because after this is a lot of things to submit. You have to do DS-260 form that's on the embassy website. You have to get police record, and it's just a lot of things. And upgrading again, they give you a lot of courses to do. Again, a lot. It's just a lot of courses. So I was like, what? I've done NCLEX. I've passed NCLEX. I've done the courses they give me before. What is this now? More courses. Why? But anyway, I got my courses. I did my courses, and yeah. Anyway, so as I said, you had to submit a DS-260. That's the application form to embassy. Yeah. After, I trying to remember everything. I don't want to miss anything, people. Trying my best. So after you do the courses that are great, these second set of courses that they give to you, then they do a clinical interview again, talk about things on your floor and stuff like that. And after you've done that clinical interview, you have like a final test to do. Well, no, you do the final test, then you do the clinical interview. Then they start sending you job offers. So I think I got 4 job offers for Texas, and I was like, I don't really want to go to Texas. So I got 4 job offers for Texas. I got a job offer for Maine, and I got a job offer for North Carolina. I got 4 job offers for North Carolina, but at the same hospital, just different floors. So I did my interviews, and how the interview process works too. So they send you a job offer. That does not mean you saying, okay, I like this job. Does not mean, okay, you just get this job. That's not how it works. So they send you the job offer, then you send if you are interested or not. So if you're interested, you send them, okay, I am interested. Then they send your resume and everything, because they'll have that throughout the application process. They send your resume, your skills checklist to the hospital. The hospital reviews your file, and then if they're interested in you, then they set you up for an interview. So all that happened. Then you do the interview, then the hospital decides if they want to employ you. So it's not as well, to be honest, nursing interviews tend not to be very hard. So it's like a typical nursing interview. But for this hospital, some of the interviews were very casual. Well, most of it was just conversation. But there are persons who get interview where it's strict. Tell me about yourself. Why should we hire you? What are you bringing to the floor? My interview was literally a conversation. What's the weather like? tell me foods you like, stuff like that. Yeah, it was just a conversation, really chilled conversation. So yes, you do your job interview. Say you get your job now, then so after you submit the DS-260 form, you will get a letter from the embassy telling you that they have received your documents and they're going to review your documents. After they have completed reviewing your documents, then they put you in a queue for an embassy date. When you get an embassy date, that's when you do your medical. And medicals have to be done at Andrews for 20,000 Jamaican dollars. And that is if you don't need any vaccine. Vaccines you must have, let me tell everybody. Have to have chickenpox, both of them. Have to have MMR, both of them. Hep B, Tdap. I think that's it. Those are the must-haves. Chickenpox, MMR, Hep B, Tdap. And the flu vaccine based on the time of the year that you're coming up. But if the flu vaccine is not available in your country, which it was not available in Jamaica at the time that I was leaving, so I got it when I came here. But if you don't have all those vaccines, you have to pay for those vaccines at Andrews, and that's expensive, very expensive. So things I had to do for my job. I had to do a man-2 test for my job, and my man-2 test came back positive, so I had to do a chest x-ray for my job. And that's different from the chest x-ray that I did at Andrews with the medical. But you don't pay for the Andrews chest x-ray, different. That's included in your medical. So they do a chest x-ray, a physical, lab draws. Yeah, and that's the medical. And if you need vaccines. But because I had someone who went through the process, so she told me the vaccines that I needed to get, and I got it because I didn't have chickenpox vaccine, so I got the vaccine. And if you've had chickenpox before, that you can do the titers, and if you have enough antibody, then you don't have to get the vaccine. Anyway, so you do your medical like 7 to 10 days before your embassy date. Then when you go to embassy, it's pretty simple. Well, I stand corrected. It was pretty simple for me. So my husband and I went. They asked us if we've ever been arrested, and we're like, no. And that's it. I think they asked me how long I've been working at UE. And I tell them that, and that's it. That was it. And they say, I'll get back my passport in 7 to 10 days. But I think my passport was really ready in 3 or 4 days. So you pick up your passport, and then you pay for your green card, which was it was I think 220 US per person. O'Grady doesn't pay for that, but I think MedPro pays for the applicants, but you have to pay for your family members. So yes. And then so after all that is finalized, you have to sort out the relocation process. So O'Grady has a relocation specialist contact you, and they help you with housing, transportation, stuff like that. So most persons, I think most persons, I won't say everybody, most persons, they tend to go with this agency, International Auto Source, because how International Auto Source works, you can sort out getting a car from you're in Jamaica. So when you get to the airport, they have a rental car ready for you until your car is ready, because you cannot get a a car in America without an American license, but you can get a rental car with an international license. So they give you a rental car with your international license, and you can drive that until your car is ready, which is usually probably a month, or it depends on how quickly you get your driver's license and insurance and all that stuff. So most persons tend to go with international auto source. My issue with international auto source is how expensive their monthly rate is. So their cars are, when you check out the market price and how much you're paying, ridiculous. So at the time, I didn't know anything about cars, but my lovely husband, when he heard he was like, this interest rate is ridiculous. So he wasn't happy about it. So we started doing some other research, and we found this credit union. Well, actually, O'Grady sent the information for the credit union, but because most persons tend to just go with international auto source, so originally I just skip over the credit union information. So I contacted the credit union from I was in Jamaica, but they said just wait until I come to the US and I can get everything sorted with them. So, and I wasn't really big on getting a new car because they said cars devalue so fast. So I was like, okay, we can get a decent used car. So we came here, we opened the Advantial account, and we got a car loan through Advantial, and we just purchased a car. So I have a 2018 Honda Civic. Nice car. My car nice bad, and it's a lot cheaper. My monthly rate is a lot cheaper, so that's something to consider. But the drawback I see with doing the credit union, so you don't get that rental car that you would get from Advantial, not Advantial, from International Auto Source. So you won't have the rental car, but it's not that bad. But to each his own. You have to think, weigh your pros and your cons, and see what's better for you. But that was just what I did. I had contacted my apartment complex from Jamaica, and in order to get the apartment, because that's one of the most complicated thing in the relocation process, getting an apartment, because they have to do a credit check. So of course, because I came to the US as a J1 student, so I had a social security number, but I don't have a credit history. So of course, when I contacted them, they wanted my social security number. So I gave them my social security number, but I let them know that I'm a nurse migrating. I don't have a credit history in the US, but they still did the credit check, and they realized that, okay, I don't have a credit history. So I told them that I would be working at the hospital in the area, and they said, okay, I just need to send them my contract to say, okay, I'll be working there. And I just did that, and they sent me the lease for my apartment. But it was a lot. It was a lot, and rooms were not readily available. So most places you search close to the hospital because you want to be close to the hospital, but not all these places have rooms available. So it's not like Jamaica where you see a house empty, you want to rent, you rent. Nope. And sometimes they say, okay, you're not going to be available until you see an apartment, and they say, okay, this is going to be available in the next 3 weeks, and you're coming up the Monday, and your apartment not going to be ready until the Friday. So that happened. The apartment is very, very, very frustrating, but once you get everything settled, it works out. And finally, when it's time to migrate, they book your flight. So O'Grady books the flight for the applicants, and you pay for your relatives, or you pay for your family. Or you can book the flight for you and your family, and they just reimburse what you pay for your flight. Then when you come to the US now, you get settled in. We did a drug test, flu shots, respiratory fitness test, respiratory fit test. All that was done like the second day. They take you shopping because you get a community liaison. She didn't pick us up from the airport. We took the shuttle because O'Grady paid for the first night in a hotel. So you just take the shuttle from the airport to the hotel, and then the community liaison person takes you from the hotel, and they take you to do your medical. They take you to get cell phones, food, take you to your apartment, because my apartment was ready when I came. So they took me to our apartment, and we got stuff for the apartment and so forth. And then, yeah, you go around, try to know the place as best as you can, and then you start working. And then I'll tell you guys about the working process. But that was just the process from Jamaica to the US. Yeah, it was a lot, but yeah, it's worth it though. It's worth it. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching.